Hey trackies, welcome back to another video here on TXT Track Time. Please remember to like the video and also subscribe to the channel. Now trackies, please also head on over to our Instagram page and give us a follow there as well. You'll be getting frequent updates on that page going forward, and the link will be in the description. Thank you. Now with that said, trackies, breaking news. Now it seems as though the men at the helm of the Titans Track Club have decided to go their separate ways. Yes, trackies, in no uncertain terms, the club has split squarely down the middle. I'm talking about Gregory Little and Michael Frater deciding to go their separate ways, with Gregory Little reportedly retaining lead of the Titans Track Club and Michael Frater scheduled to start his own club in this new 2024 season. Now, trackies, with this major turmoil going on internally for the Titans Track Club, the big question is clearly what will happen with the athletes. Well, trackies, I can report that both Yohan Blake and Akeem Blake have decided to go with Michael Frater. Now, originally, Akeem Blake made a connection through Yohan Blake and was clearly training with Michael Frater. So the three of them decided to leave together. Now, as it relates to Brianna Williams, the other big charge at the club, apparently she has decided to leave as well. However, has not indicated at this time where she will be training for this 2024 season, another major season for track and field, because clearly the Olympic Games is right around the corner. Now, with that said, trackies, when I think about this internal turmoil and then I start to break down in my mind what has happened this season, I start to look at, maybe a Yohan Blake. For the most part, he didn't really seem affected, which is a good thing, trackies. His season remained, relatively consistent. He's been running, in and around that 10-second barrier this season. So for the most part, he's a senior athlete and would have seen a lot, in his years being in track and field. So he didn't really seem affected that much. However, when I look back at Akeem Blake, I start to question in my mind if this internal turmoil is what we have been seeing playing out on the track with Akeem Blake, especially in these last few races for this season. As you guys will remember, he fell in one race. He's been having false starts. So trackies, he's been having some major issues in his last few races in terms of execution. And I've been pointing out that even if you're not at your best physically to run your fastest, you're still able to execute a race. Now, clearly, Akeem Blake has not been able to execute a race. And I went as far as saying maybe, he would need a sports psychologist, because not everybody is the same. Not everybody handles the pressures of track life or just being in sport in general, the same. Some people will need some assistance with dealing with issues that are affecting them, not only on the track, but off the track. So now when I take into consideration that there must have been stuff brewing before this eventual split, it may have been affecting Akeem Blake, and as such, his last few results trackies have not been the best. Now, when I think about, the fact that he was introduced to the club through Yohan Blake and of course training with Michael Frater, maybe there'll be some semblance of stability. Even if Michael Frater goes on to start a new club, not much will change. Yes, of course things are a bit topsy-turvy at the moment, but for the most part, as it relates to Akeem Blake, I'm hoping that he'll be able to quickly readjust, considering that it's the same coach and virtually same environment that he'll be working with, when you think about the likes of Yohan Blake being there as well. So in that instance, trackies, I'm hoping that come 2024, everything can be worked out for Akeem Blake and we can see a much better version of him going forward. But they should really consider, getting a sports psychologist, because something was happening with him, in my opinion, this season, and it could be the internal turmoil that, has been affecting him, and as such, the results on track, is what happened. Now, with that said, trackies, we go on over to Brianna Williams. Now, this is where my biggest concern lies, because Brianna Williams is literally a fresh face to the Titans club. Now, trackies, as you all know, she has trained under Otto Bolden for years. I mean, years upon years upon years, yes, and she's been very, very successful. Olympic gold medalist and also double gold at the under 20 championships, the youngest athlete to do so, trackies. Very very, very successful. However, last season, she decided to make the step and get new coaching, and she ultimately decided to work with the Titans Track Club. Now, for this 2023 season, considering that clearly this was a whole new training regime, she clearly struggled a bit, and as such, had a few injuries that did hamper her throughout the season. However, she was still ultimately able to make the team to the World Championships, where she did win for herself a silver medal as part of the women's 4x1 team. But again, it's been a rough, rough season for her. And this split track is, especially going into the Olympic year, is not a good look for Brianna Williams, because right now there is literally no stability. She hasn't had time really for her body to adjust to this new training regime and also get comfortable in the club, and everything is literally just falling apart in front of her eyes. So Chuck, is as it stands right now, Brianna Williams right now is my biggest concern heading into this 2024 season. Will she stay with Michael Frater? Now, I was hearing reportedly that her coach is indeed Michael Frater, so there is a possibility that she will stay with Michael Frater, considering that she left the club as well. So all of them left the club. She's the only one that just hasn't decided where she will be training, right? However, there's a possibility that she'll have to seek out training someplace else. Now, this is where the trouble lies, in my opinion, because when you think about the other clubs that are out there that are available, most of them are large clubs, large outfits, many, many athletes to get that individualized focus that a Brianna Williams, in my opinion, I believe deserves, right? So with that said, Trackies, I'm hoping, I'm praying that she's able to sort things out soon. So Trackies, even though Brianna has had such a topsy-turvy season in terms of, just acclimatizing to the training and of course, picking up injuries as a result, she still ended up with an 11-0-1 this season. So it could be possible that she will stick with Michael Frater heading into the 2024 season. But of course, they will need to get things sorted out as soon as possible to ensure that there's some semblance of stability for the athletes to train without having to be worried about external factors. Now, Trackies, it's your turn to sound off in the comment section below and let me know your thoughts. What do you make about this whole split going on with the Titans Track Club? And most importantly, Trackies, the athletes. Because as far as I'm concerned, in the bigger scheme of things, the athletes are the most important. What do you make about this entire situation? How do you think the athletes will fare? I'm talking about Yohan Blake and Akeem Blake. Yohan is a bit more seasoned, but what about the younger athlete, Akeem Blake? And of course, Brianna Williams, that has yet to decide where she will train for this 2024 season. What do you make about the situation for her? How quickly will she be able to readjust if she will have to find a new outfit to acclimatize herself to? Sound off in the comment section below and let me know your thoughts. Like the video and subscribe. I'll catch you in the next one.